Boyfriend is learning ASL for my brother and my friends say it's a red flag. The guy, 22 male, that I, 21 female, am dating is learning ASL for my brother, but my friends think it's creepy. How do I proceed with this? I, 21 female, met John, 22 male, in a college class last semester. He's an overall great guy and he's very respectful and kind. He also has a great sense of humor and we have lots of similar interests. We've been friends since then and we've started dating this July. He's the first person I've ever dated in my life. Last September, he met my family when I visited home for my brother's birthday. My brother, Trev, 19 male, has been deaf since birth. So my whole family communicates with him either through sign language, Trev's lips reading, but we still sign as a reflex, or through text. During our small celebration at home, it was clear that my parents liked John. He was very charming, funny, and respectful. He even tried to connect with Trev by typing some of his jokes for Trev to read, although my brother could lip read as well. Whenever John would tell a story, either I or my parents would sign for Trev. My parents said that they're happy that I found a sweet and caring guy in John. Of course, I'm glad to hear this. Before we went back, John and Trev had a quick Call of Duty gaming session. For someone with Trev's condition, he is a really talkative guy. Hello. He's very expressive and likes to communicate a lot, especially when gaming. Of course, he couldn't outright trash talk, but he does the closest things with his hands. So there we were at Trev's room with John and Trev playing while I was translating for them. I was laughing way too hard because Trev was trying his best to trash talk John, like saying he's weak and trying to say all these expletives, but I'm trying my best to tone it down for John. Meanwhile, I'm also translating John's instructions and strategies for Trev. Also, because this was the first time John met my family, he was saying all these praises to Trev like "good job" or "we can do it better next time." Although, I know that deep inside, he also wants to trash talk my brother. The two of them got along pretty well and they've been having some online gaming sessions since then. 2 weeks ago, John visited home alone with me again for my mom's birthday. There, he surprised everyone including me by communicating with Trev through ASL. John was still at the alphabet, some basic words and some rehearsed phrases, but we were all delighted that he even made the effort. Trev's face lit up, and I've never seen him happier having a new long-term friend with low communication barriers. Apparently, John had been watching some YouTube tutorials and got a free subscription to Skillshare to learn ASL. The two of them had a gaming session again, and this time, John and Trev could communicate more directly. Of course, it was still kinda slow and I still had to do some translating. Imagine trying to baby talk to a grown man or talking to a caveman with choppy sentences. But I could tell Trent was having a great time. They also got more comfortable with each other with more explicit trash talking, which I didn't tone down this time. John had been religiously learning ASL since then, and he's making a lot of progress. I was so happy with this, so I told my close friend group from high school. However, most of my friends, especially my closest guy friend, told me that what John was doing was a red flag because it could be a form of obsession and emotional manipulation. He also said it was creepy because John's becoming too attached to my family when we've only been dating about 5 months. He also said that John might be only doing it so he could get laid or something. I know there's some validity to what my friend said, but I'm not really convinced. John has been a wonderful and sincere guy the entire time. And I know it's naive to say this because he's my first ever relationship, but I can see this becoming long-term. Yes, we haven't hooked up yet because I told him I wasn't ready yet and he never pressured me to do it. However, is this behavior something I should really be concerned about? Again, I don't have any experience with dating and relationships, so I don't know if this is something that's truly concerning. My friends are pushing for me to break up with John, but I'm not sure. How do I proceed with this? Well, OP, even though it's nice that your friends are trying to look out for you, I don't think their heart's in the right place, particularly that guy friend that's telling you this is some sort of emotional manipulation or a red flag. Honestly, he's the one that sounds like a red flag. It does sound like John is a great guy. He took an interest in you. He took an interest in your family and he's doing his best to get to know your brother. And he's going the extra mile not by just playing with him online, but he's actually trying to learn how to communicate with him, which I think is great. So if you should reevaluate any relationships, it should be the ones with your friends. I'm guessing there are ulterior motives here and they're not nice. And what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments section, and now let's check out the community comments. Crystal Queen 3000 says, "Your friends are thieves of joy. A guy that likes you is going out of his way to learn to communicate with your brother. That's adorable. Don't let your friends crap on it." Square Minimum 6042 says, "I think your closest friend likes you, likes you, likes you. Your boyfriend sounds wonderful. Don't listen to their nonsense. I'm happy for you and for your brother that John is so kind. Don't let your friend's jealousy make you doubt yourself or John." Janet in Spain says, "Damn. You need better friends. Your friends are the ones who are creepy, reading so much dark intent into what is actually a very kind, thoughtful, and respectful OP response. After reading a lot of the responses here, I am now re-evaluating my relationship with my friends. This wasn't the first time they gave negative feedback on a guy I liked, and says, "Why are your friends so cynical? Who hurt them?" This is a really sweet gesture. He's literally learning another language so he can communicate with your brother. That's really kind. Edit to add, how do your friends talk or view your brother? I'm kinda getting the sense that they might be seeing him as not his own person just because he has a disability, and that's why they are so dead set on this idea that your boyfriend is only learning ASL to get laid. And OP responds, they don't really interact with my brother that much. Whenever they see him, it's mostly just a smile and polite wave. Then we do our own thing. Edit. Thank you for your kind word, Reddit. Yes, John is a wonderful guy and has so far given me no reasons to doubt his sincerity. It's only my friends who planted the seeds in my mind since they've all had experiences with dating and relationships, so the pressure kinda got to me. Thank you for all your insights. They have been truly eye-opening, and it really looks like I've got a lot of reflection to do with my relationships and connections. Again, thank you so much. Alright, well, the community read the writing on the wall and it makes a lot of sense for OP. So now let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. First off, I wanted to thank everyone who gave their insights in my original post. As I said, I'm very new to relationships, so reading insights other than my inner circles was very eye-opening. To begin, many Redditors said that my high school friends are conniving, untrustworthy, and ableist people who never bothered learning ASL despite knowing me for a long time. I take accountability for this. I'm not saying they're blameless, but it's not entirely their fault. For some context, our family moved to our area when I was in senior year of high school due to my dad's job. The friend group, 2 guys and 2 girls before I joined, was already tied when I came in. They then took me in after we got grouped together for a school project, and they've been with me since. We've been friends for about 4 years now. They're not exactly saints, but they helped me survive my senior year in one piece. They are fun to hang out with, and they were the support I needed when I was struggling. Also, during that time, my brother was having a especially hard time adjusting because of his disability, so my friends never really saw Trev a lot. To be clear, I was never ashamed of Trev. It's just that whenever my friends came over, he either locked himself in his room or was in a different area with his tutor and never really interacted with us. Whenever he does come out, he's really shy and awkward, so my friends mostly just get glimpses of him. By the time Trey became more comfortable in our area and found his own circle, my friends and I had already graduated from high school and don't really hang out regularly anymore. They're friendly and polite with Trev, but then again, they never interacted as much to the point of them actually needing to learn ASL for him. Now for the update. Last week, my friend group had our year-ender party, and I decided to bring Jong along to meet the rest of my friends. My other friend in the group also brought his girlfriend. So this wasn't really weird. Others have done so in the past as well. So far, Joan had only met my closest guy friend. I'll call him Mike, 21 male. So I wanted the rest of them to form their own opinions of John after they've met him. Initially, there was some tension and awkwardness from my friend group towards John. They were a bit cold and they were throwing some harsh remarks towards him. Eventually, though, they all warmed up to him, and they were actually pleasantly surprised by his personality. We all got along well, and we all even had fun in our games. However, I could tell that there was still awkward tension coming from Mike toward John and the rest of our group. He was throwing meaner jokes more than usual, and he's kind of isolating himself from the activities. The day after the party, I had lunch with my closest girlfriend, Sophie, 21 female, to clear the air because I could tell that they could also sense something was off. A lot of Redditors speculated that Mike had a crush on me and was jealous of my relationship with John. Turns out, you're all 10,000% correct, but it's a lot more complicated than that. Apparently, Mike has had a crush on me since our senior year high school. However, he's known in our school as a notorious ladies' man and had a new girl with him almost every month. This got exponentially worse during college. He had different hookups almost every night, and he even had a pregnancy scare with a girl last year. I knew about all of this because he bragged about sleeping around every time we meet up. What I didn't know was that the entire time, Mike has been making up fake stories about me and him. Sophie told me that, apparently, Mike and I had a pact that if we were still both single when we're 30, we'd marry each other. Also, he told our friend group that we hooked up after graduation and that he took my virginity then. So he's my special person, whatever that means. He also told me that we'd been secretly hooking up consistently throughout college. For context, Mike and I go to different universities that are just about 30 minutes apart. Lastly, Mike told them that I said I'm in love with them. He told our friends not to tell me anything so I don't get embarrassed or upset since I have this image of being somewhat of a prude. Mike also told our friend group that when he met John, He thought that John is a total jerk who has been manipulating me and taking advantage of my innocence and naivete. He said that John had been forcing himself into my family and is driving a wedge between me and my friends. Mike also said that after he had lunch with me and John, he tried to convince me to stay away from John because he's not a good influence on me, but John had effectively brainwashed me. This explains why my friend group was already so antagonistic toward John when I told them about him. For the record, none of what Mike said was true. There was no pact. We never hooked up and I have never been in love with him. After that, Sophie and I asked the rest of our friend group, except Mike, to jump on a FaceTime call with us. They all shared different versions of what Mike told them. There were a lot more, but I disputed everything. We were all collectively shocked about everything that we learned that day. They apologized for their behavior toward me and John, and I told them I understood giving all the lies fed to them by Mike. Then everyone agreed to kick Mike off the friend group. Sophie suggested that maybe we could have an intervention for Mike first, but I just said that I didn't want anything to do with him anymore. The rest of the group agreed, so we're instantly cutting him off. Sophie said she would still talk to him just to inform him of everything that happened, but I really just wanted to distance myself from him. Now it's been a week of being Mike-free. Sophie said that when she and our other guy friend talked to Mike, he became extremely defensive, confrontational, and aggressive. He wasn't physically violent, but he called them names, attacked their characters, and made such awful statements about everyone in our friend group that I won't include it here anymore. It looks like cutting him off completely was the right call. Now for some more uplifting updates. After reading everyone's comments in my previous post, there were a lot. I reflected on my relationship with John and my friends. I then talked to my parents for advice since they have the best relationship I know. They told me that from what they saw from John when he visited our home and how I spoke of him, it seems like he is a legitimately nice person with pure intentions. It also helps that John and I have been friends for months before we started dating. So I already knew his character even when there was less pretense of him trying to impress me. He's already impressive on his own though. I then told John about everything that happened and apologized, fully expecting him to be mad at me for doubting him and his intentions. Instead, he said he understood because, of course, it was just natural for me to trust my friends and expect them to have my best interests. He then asked me if there was any point in our relationship when I felt uncomfortable or uneasy around him, and I categorically said no. I told him that he is my safe space and he has nothing to worry about. He then reassured me that his intentions with me are genuine, and he even said that he sees a future with me, which I reciprocated. Also, John and Trev's friendship is still going strong. Trev has participated in one of John's D&D sessions with his friends, and John and I both acted as the translators. We were delighted to see that most of John's friends already know ASL Alphabet. Apparently, they had even included it in the lore of their D&D campaign. Trev had been asking John some tips for working out and getting fit lately since they have the same body type, but John is more toned. One of his brothers is a fitness instructor, and I met John's family for the first time for their annual get-together. It was super fun. There were games and contests. Also, I wasn't prepared for it, but apparently, since their mom is a theater performer and their dad is a music producer, it was their family tradition to have a talent showcase. They gave me a pass this time, but they told me I should prepare something impressive for next year. John and his brothers performed Bye 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 by NSYNC in full Deadpool, Wolverine and Captain America costume. Could be Johnny Storm, but that's okay too. While his sisters and their husbands did Defying Gravity from Wicked, their parents did a medley from The Sound of Music. It was a total blast. I felt their family's warm welcome and they really treated me as one of their own. I could see where John got his good values and looks from. Though, I think I need to start taking voice and dance lessons to keep up with him. Lol. So that's it for this update. My relationship with John is stronger than ever, and I finally know who my true friends are. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for your time. Happy New Year to us all. Well, OP, it does sound like John and his family are awesome, and it's a good thing that you trimmed the bad friends from your life. Take care, OP. And thanks for sharing. And now let's finish this video with a mood booster post. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliance, and it's by user, Ryko. I made freight late because you couldn't compromise. So a few years ago, I got back into truck driving after my daughter was around 2 to 3 years old. There weren't many companies who would take someone that had been out of the game that long, so I had to settle on one of the bigger companies. What a mistake that was. Before this, I had no issues as a professional truck driver with having driver-facing or inward-facing cameras. I don't do anything illegal or stupid behind the wheel, so it didn't matter. It does now. This company had stuck the camera that faced inwards and outwards along the area where the visor would cover the windshield. As most things like this happen, it was a recordable offense to have the visor not only block out the sun from laser beaming me in the face, but having the visor down block the camera. I got calls about it constantly. I asked them what I should do. Don't cover the camera, but the sun limits my vision. Don't cover the camera. I can't stick anything on the windshield to block the sun. This is unsafe. What do you want me to do? Don't block the camera. Can you move it somewhere else? No. How am I supposed to see during sunrise and sunset hours? Don't block the camera. It came down to them threatening my job and livelihood that if I blocked the camera one more time, they'd remotely deactivate my truck and force me out with a local police escort. So I started to find nice and safe places to stop every single early morning and evening when I was driving where the sun would come through the windshield. My dispatcher, understanding of a man that he is, asked me why loads were being late and why I was stopping so frequently for so many hours. So I told him, safety wouldn't compromise and I can't freaking see out the window with the sun laser beaming me in the face. I'm not crashing into someone because a damned camera is being blocked when I haven't done anything to warrant this kind of abuse. I apologized to him but told him this would continue. He was able to schedule loads out to where I had the stopping time, but, ultimately, they fired me anyway after 5 months. Bonus: I was told I was unsafe, stupid, shouldn't drive a truck, should find work that fits a woman better, and that I wouldn't be hireable anywhere. Even in those sketchy second chance companies where they pay, equipment and safety is crap. Joke's on them. After 2 years of running for a company that treats me like a human being and not some sea-warming robot, 4 of their little company trucks have been seen by a little old me in the ditch or median on I-29 this year after a 2-day winter storm. My truck's still running, currently waiting on unload. Well, OP, it was a stupid place to put the cameras in and you were just driving safely.